Well, I'm not going to be just talking about Salt Lake City today, guys. I'm going to be talking about TikTok Shop, social commerce. I'm going to be going through kind of what's working right now. Just so everyone knows too, at the end, I'm going to give away a really cool resource that our team has made to be able to reach out to creators. So it's just all of the different like steps that you would need to reach out to creators. The messaging that we found that seems to work, which is great. I'm going to have time for Q&A at the end as well. I think what I'll actually do, and one of my favorite ways to do this that I do during talks, is we'll try and do Q&A sort of throughout. So as things come up, raise your hand. And what I'll do is I'll kind of group the questions together while they're relevant. That seems to work really, really well. And people are able to get different, just things as they come. So yeah. Awesome. So another thing too is I will be dropping links to some cool tools here on the side too for you guys to check out. And as well, if you are a SaaS person, at some point I will ask like, hey, if you have a cool tool, we'll throw it in there. I've got Alan Densler, who I am an advisor to of an incredibly cool tool who's here. And Alan will show AI Jordan off afterwards, and you guys can check that out. We'll do that a little bit closer to the end. But that's a fun project that we've been working on for brands, which I think is really, really cool. So let's get into it here today. I'm going to be going through a bunch of new stuff. So if you guys have been on, this is really, I'm trying to be as up to date as possible. If you guys know me at all, I do go off slides at a lot of times. So just so everyone is sort of aware, I'm going to be going through a lot of stuff. I will be sending notes out after, and I will be sending out this recording after as well. So stick around till the end. There is also going to be an opportunity for you guys to work together with me in an accelerator afterwards that I'm going to be doing for brands and agencies together. The last one that we had sold out. We were going to do one in January, and then I decided to hold off until we knew TikTok was going to be around. And I have almost no doubt now that TikTok is going to be around. Seeing the CEO up there beside Trump during the inauguration makes me think that things are going to be okay. And so that's got me very, very confident for what this looks like going into the future. And then seeing all of the other things that are happening in social commerce right now is really, really interesting to me. So without further ado, let's get into it. Number one, if you guys don't know me, my name's Jordan. Owned a bunch of brands over the years. I actually, you know what? I should actually take this off now. I don't own any brands as of right now. So we sold our last one last year, had one unfortunately go bankrupt as well. But then we were able to sell it after that. And the brand still has survived, which is fun. That was just one of those things. If anyone's been through that happens. So we had a good and a bad last year. And funny, I obviously didn't see this here. CEO of Social Commerce Club, not Upgrowth. Oh man. I am like classic with slides of like, it's not the slides. That's not where the value is here today, guys. The value is in what I am going to tell you. Anyway, if you guys know, I have extensive experience in this space, especially with social commerce. And, for anyone who can have any extensive experience, we have worked with close to 70 brands now since TikTok Shop has been around, made a ton of mistakes, just an absolute ton of mistakes. And then also had some wins. And so we were actually at the agency the fastest from 0 to 7 figures. We did it within the first month or month and a half. Which was just absolutely massive. Guys, if you don't mind, there's just a couple that are not muted. Do you guys just mind muting for a second? And then I will call on you when there's time. Yeah, perfect. That's great. Just for some of the background noise. So yes, I've had some massive months. And you can see worked with a lot of affiliates. And figured out the affiliate GMV game. And that's a huge part of what we'll be talking about today. And what this looks like going forward and some of the things that you guys really need to know going forward as well. I think that's the exciting part about this is that there was a way that people were doing TikTok shop at the beginning. And I've talked, if you guys have been on any of my webinars, you'll be like, oh, Jordan, this is like new information. And it's like, absolutely. This is like going from who was there, hands up, during like the early days of Facebook when like you could only do right-hand column ads. Was anyone there in those days? Richard? Yeah, I can see that. Adam? Yeah. Awesome. That was a very big transition when you could then advertise in the news feed, right? This is like pre-pixel. I forget even what it was called back then. But this is what it feels like right now with TikTok shop and social commerce. Is like things are changing so fast. And so we're constantly adapting to what's working, what affiliates are liking. I think the biggest difference with what's going on now versus in previous times is that we're dealing with humans, right? That is the biggest difference, is that it's like performance marketing, but with humans. And so it's not the same way. You can't just like be like, oh, I'm just going to up my budget, right? Like you can on the ad side, but it's just not the same as it was with Facebook, where, you could just like run the same creative for a year and make tons of money. It's more work now. And I will tell you, it's 100% worthwhile, right? It's funny. I show you a screenshot like this. And a screenshot like this is massive in TikTok shop now, right? Think about, 2013, 2014 days on Shopify, right? This is sort of where we're at right now. And so seeing this is, I'm very, very proud of this. It's funny because this is a very big brand, right? That those are not massive numbers to the brand, but I will tell you the halo effect onto this and the goals that particular brand has, which is, sort of in the like 50 million this year range on social commerce, is massive. So what you need to know about TikTok shop, number one, I am still calling this an absolute blue ocean. When we look at the amount of brands that are out there comparatively to the amount of brands the amount of brands that exist in North America versus the amount of brands on TikTok shop, guys, it's not even close right now. And also, like, I've seen there's a lot of good brands on here, right? Like real brands. I mean, I think the majority of you are real brands and not just like drop shipping something from Alibaba. There's a lot of that still happening over there, but that is slowly becoming I would say more obsolete, because creators don't want to work with those kinds of brands, right? They don't want to work with just products. They want to. I was on the other night with this group of people. There was about 160 creators on, and they asked me. It was a different creator group that we're tapping into for a few brands, and it's great because a ton of them, about 100 of them, came and joined our community, which is awesome. But they were asking me, they're like, when are like the big brands going to be coming onto the platform? And the good news is we're, at Social Commerce Club right now, we're talking to a lot of these big brands, and they're going to be entering the platform. And the good news for everybody on this call, whether you are a, $1 million brand or you're a $100 million brand, that is good news, right? When there are big brands like, Lululemon and Aritzia and Prada and all of these names that enter the space, what it does is it legitimizes the entire platform. And tons of these are coming on. I'm going down to Seattle next Monday to meet with TikTok shop global key accounts. So those are brands that are 4 billion and above. They're really trying to push for these brands to get onto the platform because it legitimizes the entire platform. And so right now is still that blue ocean to get onto the platform itself. The good news is that a lot of people have actually held off. A lot of brands have held off on coming onto the platform because of all of the uncertainty. I would say now the uncertainty is very, very little with whether or not it's time to invest in this platform or not. This is the time. And again, finally, this is something I'll be talking about at the end. This is finally a time where I'm going to be able to help brands that is outside of the agency. So we have our agency offerings. I think some of you guys have talked to our agency. You understand sort of where the pricing is on the agency side. And for agencies just out there, just so you guys know, I'm going to be getting into some of the different ways that we'll be able to help as well through the accelerator, through all of this kind of stuff. What I'm really trying to do is democratize all of this knowledge and launch for you guys in this particular way. And then also, of course, if this is something that you guys want actual done for you help with, that is where Social Commerce Club comes in. This is not a big pitch for that. This is just, I just want you guys to sort of understand, because what I generally do when I do group trainings is I do a lot less letting you know how we can actually help or how I can actually help. And we're just like giving information. And then people will message after and be like, can you actually like do some of this stuff? Or like, can I get some of this knowledge? So that's what I'm trying to do today. And super, super excited about it. So who's this training for? This is for brands who see the massive opportunity, want to go beyond and leverage. You can see I'm great at spelling. TikTok Shop and beyond, and brands who want to add a massive blue ocean sales channel in Halo. Stick around to the end. This is my big way to get you guys to stick around till the end. I have an awesome worksheet that I'm going to give to you guys that's going to help you guys a ton, and goes through messaging, goes through an example messaging and what you need to do and plug and play into some of the best tools that are out there. So here is the interest over time for the TikTok Shop, which is massive. If you look at this, like it just continues to go up and up and up. And I think we see that little spike there as well. Right, at the 100 mark, and that was right when TikTok Shop was, about to be banned, or it had that 1 day ban, and that great turnaround there that we all had, and I'm sure we all saw the screenshot and what was going on there, which was interesting, and I'm very happy. I'm very happy that it stuck around. But TikTok Shop is just getting started. I wish that I would have grabbed this number, but if you see where Amazon started in timing, and you see where Shopify started in timing, and you see how long it took them to get to an exponential curve, it was a long time. I mean, especially Amazon, right? Like Amazon took, if any of you guys have read any of the Jeff Bezos biographies, highly recommend. It took a long time, and he had to convince people for, I don't even know how many years, we're just going to lose money and lose money and lose money, and trying to get it out there. And really what TikTok Shop is doing is reinventing that, and it's standing on their shoulders, right? And that's why they're hitting exponentiality so ridiculously fast. I think that there will probably be, if you guys go into Calidata, so I highly recommend Calidata. I'm not affiliated with Calidata in any sort of way. I should be, actually, and now that I think about it, because I talk about them all the time. And Calidata is a really great platform to actually see what is going on in the space with your competitors. Because of the way that TikTok's data is out there, you can actually see what all of your competitors are doing. And that is something for everyone to note, that everyone else can see what you're doing. So if you want to see what some of the big brands that are on there are doing, go on and go check it out. So that's a really big thing there. You'll see that January was down substantially over December. That is both seasonal, and that was because of the ban. All right. How big is this opportunity? Oh, this is great. I got my wife to go in and like try to like make these slides look nicer. And this is her. This is great. Thanks, Carmen. I know you're not on this call. So how big is the opportunity? Don't worry, Kai, you did a good job too. I could see the heart there. You did a good job, Carmen. Just clean it up a little bit. Kai's my assistant. The opportunity is massive. When we see what is going on in Asia right now, or in that particular Southeast Asia area, it's going to be 1.3 trillion this year. 1.3 trillion, just mental. This is social commerce, right? And we know that the wave is coming, right? We can see the adoption. Before this, before TikTok Shop and before I saw live shopping start to take off on TikTok, I would have actually told you no. I would have said, nah, I don't think it's going to catch on here. It's been tried by Facebook. It's been tried by Instagram. I don't know. I totally disagree now. I disagree with my former self, like I do a lot. And this is why I have been so obsessive over this, right? This is like the annoying people back in, I'm trying to remember when Bitcoin started. Let's say like back in 2012 or whatever, those annoying people are like, Bitcoin's going to be huge. It's going to be huge. And you're like, I don't get it. I still don't get it, but it obviously has massive amounts of value. That is what I feel like for social commerce in North America right now. It's like, it's the wave. We can see that we're on the exponential curve, right? The thing about being, standing on an exponential curve is you look back and all you can see is this sort of like flat line, right? You can see this very flat line, but what you don't realize is that your nose is touching this like massively huge curve. And that's where we're at. When we see, I think about a client of ours, their conversion rate is 0.8 on TikTok Shop. And yet it's like 2.5 on their website, and even way more on Amazon. And there's this huge halo onto everything. That is, imagine once TikTok catches up, right? And their checkout starts to have conversion rates like Amazon in the like 4 to 6, maybe even 10 range. that will be crazy, right? When the trust is built. And that's the stage that we're at right now. That on this exponential curve, that's where we're sitting right now. So again, Amazon and Facebook ads of 2015. So I'm just going to go through this again because I think it's really, really important for people to understand. I know that most of you guys get it. If you're on here, you sort of understand, okay, there is a huge opportunity here. Here is, and sorry, I actually made the slide for agencies. So agencies, listen up here. This is the crazy thing on. This is the crazy thing with TikTok. We have 2.5 million sellers over on Amazon in the United States. We have very, very few of them who have actually been able to come over and do anything on TikTok and actually make the leap over to TikTok because it's totally different, right? It's not a demand. It's not a demand capture channel. It's a demand gen channel. It is a performance channel. And that's one of the things that people just don't really understand. Again, Meta is going to be rolling out at some point very, very soon. For agencies out there, I've trained now, I think I've trained 20 agencies now, something like that. One of them I'll go through after, actually is one of the top 5 TikTok shop partners, has now become one of our competition. Felix on my team just is really upset that I did this. I was like, don't worry, bro. It's just making us better. It's just making us better. We're just raising the bar. I still actually get on calls with them all the time and talk to them about like what pivots we're making and what different things are working and stuff. I really think at this time, there is no, like for other agencies out there, there's no competition out there. What there is right now is there are going to be a million brands that need help, right? There are going to be a million brands that may not want to run this on their own. Now, for brands that are out there, you might want to run this on your own, right? You might want to actually figure this out and then go to an agency, very similar to people did with Facebook ads, right? Or you might just want to hire someone. But as of right now, there are very few good agencies out there that I would recommend that actually understand how to do this and have the manpower to be able to do this, because it's a lot of work, right? And there's a lot of ways that we figured out different automations and all that kind of stuff. And that's what I'm going to be talking to you guys about in here today, which I think is very interesting. So what? This is an old slide that I did, and I still believe in this slide. Number one, we have TikTok shop up here, right? Essentially, one of the biggest recommendations that I'm making to brands every single day is influencer seeding to get this UGC style content, right? But TikTok shop made everything where you can essentially from day one break even on getting this content. That is the cool thing. So we're able to get product out to people. We're able to get content. We're able to then gather it. I'm using the tool Refunnel. Highly recommend, if you guys have not checked out Refunnel, to go check out Refunnel. I'm also an advisor over there, just so everybody knows. Absolutely love Atif over there and what he's building. He's actually built some like really cool things for TikTok shop right now, including contests. So contests are a really big part of how to get our affiliates. And again, you guys can see I'm going off the slides all the time. Contests are a really, really great way to actually incentivize your affiliates to post more, because the more that they post, the more that they're going to be able to hopefully get a certain amount of GMV. And you can create these, and GMV is just our gross merchandise value. It's what we say on TikTok shop for those D2C people who out there who just talk about revenue. So we're talking about it with GMV, just because people have asked about that term a couple of times. So the idea is that we're actually able to take the content, right, through Refunnel. And what Refunnel is actually able to do is be able to pick out some of the incredible creators, number one, that you have, the amount of times that those creators have posted, some of the content that they have, and then right within the platform, you can actually get rights to it, which is really, really cool. So then what we like to do is we have this whole motion that we talk about at Social Commerce Club, and it's this TikTok shop for D2C idea. Essentially what it is, if that sounds confusing, the idea is that we actually take that content and those influencers and we whitelist them on other platforms. Essentially, when we think about TikTok shop for anyone out there, it is whitelisting on steroids. Now, there's so much more to it than that, but that is the idea. And so we're using that exact same motion onto other platforms where we're actually running ads behind influencers and actually still paying them a small commission to continue to run their content, so that when they start making a lot of money from us, we're actually still able to ask them for more content because we understand, I'm sure you guys know from Facebook right now, you have to get a lot of content in there for it to be successful right now. That is the name of the game right now, is getting as much content as you can in there. I'm going to pause for a sec because I've been going for a while. I would love to hear some questions right now if we have any in the chat. I've seen a few messages come through here. What is the average conversion rate at a TikTok store? It's definitely below 1 right now, for sure. My biggest recommendation is to set a baseline when you're going to launch TikTok Shop for your brand or as an agency with brands. Set a baseline of what your average sales have been and anything else that you're doing to sort of create your own MMM. So the idea is that because your conversion rate is lower, generally what you're going to find is, number one, I would start to go look at your organic search. So go and look at your organic search and see if your organic search is growing. That is going to tell me that you're seeing a halo. Number two, are your Amazon sales growing more than they were before? So that's another one. That's another really big one. Another side of it that you're going to look is the same on your D2C side, same in retail, right? And try to really see what is this actual halo effect. Now, there are tools out there that you can use. Prescient AI is doing a really good job right now as far as like a fairly quote unquote cheap MMM, cheap being still very expensive, but comparatively to these like massive like Nielsen ones that you run like once a year, this is like a daily MMM. So definitely do that. Awesome. So that's one thing there. I'm going to get into a few more questions. How do you qualify a top content creator? Well, number one, they have to have actually created content, top content before. So we do that based on GMV. So so we have 2 different groups at Social Commerce Club, and part of this, and I'll get into this after too. Part of the accelerator as well is you guys having access into one of the groups that we have. So we have 2 different groups in there. And so we're constantly trying to aggregate people. And this is something that I teach to brands and agencies, is to create your own groups as well. So we have a high GMV creator group. We consider those people, they create $50,000 of GMV monthly over brands, right? Over all brands, not 50,000 per brand, but 50,000 total. That's considered a high GMV creator. They are the 1% of the 1% that are producing that much. Finding them and getting them to post is really, really important. But you can't do that before you actually get GMV on your product itself. Qualifying a top creator is difficult because at the beginning, you guys have this kind of relationship with the creator, right? The creator is up here. They have, like the other day in our WhatsApp group, I saw somebody post and it was this palette from Purelator, or I don't know, somebody. Sorry, I think that's a Canadian thing. It must have been from UPS. It was this massive palette of products that they were getting sent. They had 110 products that they had to make videos for, right? So if you are not standing out, these creators are not going to work with you. Now, these creators are incentivized to actually produce content for you. We're always looking for creators that are doing above 90% fulfillment. So 9 out of 10 times they're going to take your product and actually make a video for you. But it's not just the one video. You want them to make 15 or 20 videos. You want them to get onto your roster of creators. That's how they're able to iterate and actually create content that makes money. So how to qualify a top content creator? It doesn't even matter at the beginning. At the beginning, it matters if they qualify you, right? And so that's what I'm always getting into, is like, it's a different game than influencer marketing, right? These creators have all of the power at the beginning. And then as a brand, you start to have the power together with them. What I always like to get into is a relationship like this, like a win-win relationship, right? And that's what I teach in the accelerator. That's what we do at Social Commerce Club. We're always trying to create this win-win with creators. So, okay, let's just see here. I have a friend in performance who wasn't happy with Prescient. They canceled and went over to Recast. Yeah, I don't know anything about either one of them. Good to know. I just know the guys over at Prescient. I don't have any sort of like formal relationship with them. So if you guys find a better MMM, awesome. There was one in Salt Lake City the other day as well. Somebody was telling me about, and I totally forget. I'll try and actually aggregate a bunch of them together to do. I think that like the best MMM is a post-purchase survey. So if you guys can get a post-purchase survey on your website in particular, that's great. with AI right now, guys, it's very, very easy to be able to see what these effects are, right? We started TikTok Shop on this day. We sent out 100, and especially if you have refunnel, we had 1,000 videos this month. Did our aggregate sales go up more than they were going up before with this one thing? So what I recommend is if you guys are going to dive into TikTok Shop, don't do any other big new marketing plays. Just do the one, right? So just do TikTok Shop, have it as your first one so that you can actually see what that halo is, because what you're going to see is it's going to be phenomenal. The one thing that you guys need to understand is that creators hate the halo effect. Okay. Creators want to get paid. They do not like the halo effect. Don't talk about it with the creators. They do not like it. And I think at some point soon, there is not going to be a halo effect. But right now, that is definitely what we are seeing. Let me just see if there's any other questions here. We're going to talk about getting creators to respond to target collabs. Yeah, that's a really good question. I think we get way more into that in the accelerator. Like there's so much that goes into talking to creators. I bring on in the accelerator as well. I bring on for an entire session one of our high GMV creators that talks about like the do's and don'ts of like how to do this. It is way longer of a conversation than a simple question answered, unfortunately. And it's really psychology based, right? It's really based on how you talk to them, what you're offering to them, all of that kind of stuff. Just see if there's any other questions here. Is TikTok available for EU-based brands? Yes, in the UK it is as well. Spain is coming on board. Mexico is coming on board as well, just so everyone knows. Love that somebody loves refunnel. Awesome. Which kind of creator incentives are the most effective? Okay, great question. Let's get into that. I would say that number one is going to be that you're going to run ads behind them. So if you tell them that you are going to run ads behind them, you are going to be well ahead of the game, which is why I don't like GMV Max in general, because GMV Max, and sorry guys, I'm kind of getting into the weeds here. GMV Max is a certain kind of ad. And so if you run GMV Max, what it does, it's awesome for brands, really awesome for brands. It actually grabs all of the different things that you've been tagged in online, and it grabs them all and puts them. Sorry, someone's trying to get in here. It takes all of them and then it puts ad spend against what it thinks is going to. It's like what's going to convert. It's essentially like Advantage Plus, but with creator content. Now the problem is with high GMV creators, they want a certain amount of ad spend against their particular video. So that's the biggest incentive that they want, is they want to know, are you going to put ad spend behind? And if it hits a certain return on ad spend, are you going to continue to spend? Because they're going to continue to get paid on that ad spend. Something I actually just put out a YouTube video about this recently on organic versus organic commission structure versus ad commission structure. So I highly recommend that you check that out. Alan, did you mean to raise your hand there? No accident? Okay, no problem. Awesome. I'm going to keep going here. Thanks for the questions, guys. Oh yeah. No problem. Awesome. I'll go through a quick case study here. So this was a brand that we worked with, fastest to reach $1 million in GMV in North America for global key accounts. This is a big success story, and we've continued to have good success stories after this. Let me tell you exactly how we did it here. So the biggest challenge with this is, at first, this is a shoe brand. At first, shoes were hard to sell, right? There's sizing, there's all of this. Is anyone here in apparel? Apparel is, it's funny, apparel, women's apparel is actually the second biggest category on TikTok Shop right now. And yet it's still a pain to be able to sell. Just so everyone kind of understands, there's definitely some pain there. And that was one of the big pain points here, is that the biggest brand before this on TikTok Shop in shoes had only done $50,000 a month. Now, funny, I actually didn't realize that, because I had one of my assistants, it wasn't Kai, I had somebody else pull all these numbers for me, and they sent it to me in Filipino dollars. And I was like, oh, sweet. The biggest brand has done like 1.5 million. And or they're doing like 1.5 million a month. It's a great category. And then I realized, oh, the biggest had actually done 50,000 at the time. And so just so everyone knows, you can enter a category. You can enter and define that category. It is very, very realistic for you guys to do that. So The biggest thing here that we talked about was these strategic partnerships with creators, and actually, oh man, it like actually creating a relationship with them that's win-win. If you can't think win-win, you cannot do TikTok Shop. If you're just trying to take advantage of people, you cannot do TikTok Shop. If you're trying to like game the system like we do on Facebook ads, where you're just trying to get the lowest CPA and you're trying to like, oh, how can we get our how can we get the incentives to the creators down? You're not going to win on TikTok Shop. It is a relational platform. Actually, when we first started TikTok Shop, I actually had my sales team run TikTok Shop because it's a sales process, right? The whole thing is selling to your creators and trying to create this beautiful structure and this beautiful win-win structure together, which is really, really important and interesting. Again, content deployment is massive. So one of the things that I teach in the accelerator and that we do at Social Commerce Club is we talk about using the content for non-commission ads as well, right? So we'll actually do deals with creators where we're like, hey, can we get 15 videos? We're going to put money behind your videos, but we're also going to take some of it. We're going to mash it up to make net new content, and then we're going to run ads behind that. So that's one of the ways that we're actually able to get the entire commission structure down over time, which is great. And then this is just all about testing and iterating and just continuing on. The biggest thing that helped this blow up was going really aggressive on with our top affiliates and just continuing to hammer top affiliates as much as we can. It is a snowball, right? When affiliates see and creators see that you have a ton of GMV on a certain product, they want to be part of it, right? That's the coolest thing, is they really want to be a part of your program. And if they can see that they're going to make money, they will hop on board. Now, this is one of the things that I say often, is that this is TikTok Shop for creators is like the MLM of 2025, right? These creators, all that you have to do is help them see how they can make money. Now, it's not multi-level because we're not getting them to recruit their friends, that we do actually in our creator community. but there's not that sort of like trickle down effect. But really, at the end of the day, what you're trying to do is help them see how can they make money by promoting this product, and why should they partner with you? It's really, really important that you figure that part out psychologically. And again, we go through all sorts of frameworks with that in this. And you can see this is the first month that we went over $1 million. We also had a CPA of $32 or $33, way less than the regular CPA for this brand on other platforms, which is phenomenal. Here's the most insane thing, is in that 1 month, 43 million impressions on shop content alone. That's just shop content. Now, the crazy thing is, because this blew up so much, right? I know you're probably thinking like, okay, 1.2 million in GMV, like what's the big deal? The big deal is this 43 million views, right? When we calculate that back, it is worth a massive amount when we look at what the CPMs were. Now, the CPMs on TikTok during this time were $35. So it's not hard to do the calculation of 1,000 views cost us $43, but we had 43 million video views just on shop content alone. Actually crazy, right? So just something for you guys to sort of understand. And some of the stuff that we do over at Social Commerce Club. Awesome. What other questions do we have here before we get into some of the stuff on the accelerator? I'd love to answer as many questions as I can about all of this. Joe, did I get into this question here? Okay. What is the best strategy to attract high GMV creators? You mentioned ad spend, but anything else? Do you reach out via email, use a paid per post strategy? Yes. So at the beginning, you may have to incentivize them with a little bit of paid per post. You can also incentivize them by them hitting milestones. Be like, hey, look, if you produce $10,000 worth of GMV, we're going to give you an extra $1,000 bonus, right? Try to, actually, one of the things that I talked about recently with creators is do something crazy. Be like, hey, if you produce $50,000 worth of GMV, we're going to send you and your family on a trip to Disneyland. That's $4,000 or something, right? Playing around with ideas like that is really important for incentives. And just think about what it does like to your bottom line, right? If you're willing to spend an extra, $4,000 on 50,000, that's really only 8% at the end of the day. You can afford that. No one on here can tell me that you're getting more than a 3 or 4 return on ad spend on Facebook, right? So if you're willing to spend 20% on creator commission, just remember that that's a 5 return on ad spend on organic content, right? I don't recommend spending that on ads, right? I think having 2 different commission structures is really, really important. So Tiffany, yes, there will be a recording of this sent out afterwards that I will send from YouTube as well. What's the ideal attribution window to look at for TikTok Shop? So that's a good question. There is no, because it's a closed platform, there is no need for an attribution window on Shop itself. So there's that's just, it's not the same because D2C, right? So if we're thinking about D2C, there's so many more factors that come into D2C versus people are not going onto your site and then being like, oh, wonder if I can get it on TikTok Shop. That's not the way that it works right now. It's not a demand capture platform nearly as much as a demand gen platform. Francesca, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Awesome. Great. Is TikTok Shop available in Canada? No, though I did hear April maybe. So hopefully, as a Canadian, I would love to have it. I'd love to maybe be a creator on TikTok Shop. I think that'd be fun. I'm serious. I think it'd be fun to make product videos. What are the best product categories and target demo for 40 plus? So Alan, what I would recommend to you, rather than just give you an answer, what I would recommend is that you go to Calidata with a K. Actually, Kai, can you put that into the, can you put Calidata's URL into the chat, please? Because I think it'd be really, really helpful for everybody to see. Go to Calidata and start searching around your product category in particular. That's one of the things that I recommend doing right away. So you'd have to look at an MMM. Exactly. So Francesca, let's go back to your question here for a sec. Yes. So you'd have to look at an MMM that, for the halo effect in particular, right? So if we're just talking about the halo effect in particular, you'd have to look at that with an MMM. Again, I think that it can be way easier than that. And you can just look at a lift and you can use, one of the bigger models of ChatGPT to help you with that lift. That's where I would go with that. Brandon, have you seen higher priced items perform well on TikTok Shop? Yes, I have. So this particular one, the average order value is $80. So if we also look at Ninja, Ninja is their average order value in December was around $200, right? So if we think of those products, and they did a lot of revenue, I think they did in the millions of dollars. So for the case study, how many affiliate videos were posted in the first month? That is a really good question. I forget exactly how many. I wish that I had that on here. That's a good call out, Joey. I will have to figure out what that is. And how do we get them to post so quickly since launch? So a lot of people, when they started to see other people making money on this platform, they went out and bought the products themselves from retail, which was sweet. So if you guys are in retail, that is one of the other halos that ends up happening, is that creators just want to get on board. And if you're not sampling to them, then they're going to get on board and just come in through an open collab. So it's one of those things, again, it's an exponential curve. Once you start hitting some of that exponentiality, it's a really, really cool way to be able to get them to buy products, right? And then actually post for you. And the idea is that, when Meta really opens up, when YouTube finally kind of gets their thing together, which I don't recommend going over to YouTube shopping quite yet. It's just not ready yet. But when Instagram really starts hitting, Flip is another really big one. We're becoming agency partners over with Flip. There's just a lot that you can do over there. So, Kai, were you able to put the Calidata link in? If you could in the chat, that would be great. Awesome. Let me talk about the accelerator here. And then I'm going to get back to some more questions. I just want to make sure you guys sort of understand what some of the options here for you guys are, as far as, you're interested in TikTok Shop. We have done all of the hard learning. We have so much stuff here. So I've put together an accelerator. There's already actually a few people already in the accelerator from previous. We are starting next Friday. Let me just tell you, let me just go back here for a sec. So why an accelerator? Somebody on X recently was like, what is there even to manage on TikTok Shop? I'm like, oh, you obviously have not checked it out. There's a lot to manage on TikTok Shop. It is just a crazy amount that you will be managing when it comes to this. Let me just tell you about a few of the different things here that you need to be checking out. So in-feed video and live shopping, There's installing creators for brands. There's just managing your shop itself, which is a really big deal. There's the affiliate program. There's shop ads. There's Fulfilled by TikTok, which I don't recommend for anyone just starting out. Please do not start with Fulfilled by TikTok. Just recently talked to a really, really big beauty brand who accidentally did that at first and then had a ton of stuff that wasn't moving that was tied up and fulfilled by TikTok. Do not recommend doing that at first. There's the inventory management, order tracking, there's gifting, there's customer service, there's all of this kind of stuff. So some of the big mistakes that people are making: not enough outreach, not actually selling to influencers. That's another big one. Not getting rights management, right? So again, that's why I was talking about Refunnel. Love them for getting rights management, though that is something that you guys can handle as well, like right within the DMs. So just so you are aware. There is a massive setup process. Again, I share, it's now an 80-page Notion SOP that just continues to grow and grow and grow. And that's something that I share in the accelerator. Here's the daily process, right? So you guys like this? Ag. Oh man, it sucks. Tracking influencers who have posted, downloading content from creators, reposting with your own channel with tweaks, or the tabs chocolate method, which is really interesting, where you take one creator and you get them to take over an entire channel. That's a really interesting one as well, where they can actually spin up their own channel that goes straight to your shop. Their own account. Lots of communication with our influencers. We have an entire team that does this. We're sprucing in some AI as well. There's a bunch of tools that can help you do this. But yeah, just throwing that out there too. So here's the 3-stage framework that we use. And this is really, really important. And this is where, in the previous accelerator, I finished around, I think it was like early December, we finished that one. And that was just with agencies. So I haven't done one with brands yet. So our agency ones have been great. We're full every time with agencies. And every single time we get to this 3-stage approach, it's like people's eyes finally open up and they're like, oh my gosh, I understand why people haven't been able to be successful. And the reason why is because it has to be a staged approach, right? There has to be this understanding within stage 1 of your products, right? And which products are actually going to work, and getting GMV on those particular products. It's really, really important. In scaling, it's really, really important to actually gain traction through particular ad types, and through being able to figure out where all of that break even is. In stage 3, that's really where you're trying to actually scale up beyond that 100K mark. There's so much that goes into every single one of these. And again, I'm excited to see some like light bulbs come on for people if people are going to be in the accelerator. So here's where an accelerator comes in. This is my pitch for you guys today of what we're doing. We're starting next, and I think there'll be another slide in here. We're starting next Friday on this, just so everyone's aware. It's Friday the 21st is when we're going to be starting. This is going to be for agencies and for brands. Learn from, why did I say learn from my wins? You should learn from my losses. How about that? And the amount of losses that we have had and the amount of mistakes that we have made. But really, yes, we've had a lot of wins as well as an agency. Again, I was asked, by a lot of people, hey, when can you put something like this on? Because working with our agency is expensive, right? It's expensive because we have a lot of people in the background doing a lot of work. So for brands that want to get up and running, this is going to be a 4-week accelerator where you're basically going to get everything that we have, including me, for this 4 to 6 week span, depending on whether you're an agency or a brand. I'm going to be bringing in experts, all that kind of stuff, having a mentor during this. And then also, I'll talk about this in a little bit as well. But you will also have access to be able to communicate on Slack as well with our team, which is really, really great. So from the alpha test, one agency is already a top 5 partner, which is great. 0 to 1. I'm sure you guys have seen them out there. Great guys. Highly recommend talking to them at some point. Okay, look at this. Look how salesy I am. The $50 million TikTok shop domination package. If you guys know me like as a person, you'll know like, oh, that must have been cringy for you to write that. Yes, it was. No, I like doing this kind of stuff. So this is the exact system that has turned brands into the fastest growing success stories on TikTok Shop. I really do believe in this. I believe in what we have as a system, which is why I'm doing this. For me, giving up, 4 to 6 Fridays in a row is actually a lot. And yet it's amazing to see people really get it and understand why, why this is going to be such a massive thing in the future. So let me go through this a little bit here. So stop wasting time and money. Here is the 4 weeks on accelerator. I will get to the pricing here in a little bit, but basically I just want to show you some of the different stuff that we're doing. So this is 8+ live hours of coaching, Q&A. Every single question that you have gets answered throughout this. We have courses in between, and then we have 2-hour Q&A sessions as well as training. And I bring on a bunch of people, which is great. You access our team's battle-tested playbooks. And we want to equip you guys with everything that you're going to need to be successful in the accelerator. You get our entire playbook, which is incredible. And as that playbook grows, it just consistently gets updated. So previous agencies that were in there, and again, remember, I haven't done this for brands before. So this is kind of a new thing, actually bringing brands into this, which is really fun. For this, I'm just trying to give you everything. So for agencies, it's just an agency in a box, right? It's just like, here you go. Here's how you can do this. Here's all the questions that you have. Let's see here. We've got just tons of templates. I'm a real template guy. I think that templates and frameworks are what really solve a lot of these big problems. Exclusive access to the SCC Creator Network. So if you are a brand, you will be able to drop products into our Creator Network, which is like growing every single day. 700 members in there right now. They eat up any of the products that are in there, which is amazing. So you guys get to work with that particular creator network. Also, you get my private AI-powered TikTok shop assistant that literally has all of the data. We have worked a long time. Kai worked for a long time on this, and it was just absolutely crazy how much data was poured into there. I don't even know how long it took her to put it into there. Brandon, if you sign up for the accelerator, can individuals from your team join? Yeah, absolutely. So for agencies and for teams, I allow up to 3 people per team to come on to there. So just so you know, and I'll get to some of the other questions after as well for the accelerator too. So, plus I've got a bunch of software deals, which is great. So any of these softwares that I work with in this space, I have gotten deals with all of them. Alan, I can see your face there too. I'm sure you're going to give me some kind of deal. I haven't even worked it out with you, but you better. Putting you on the spot, but yeah. So yeah, you got it. Okay, awesome. That's great. And Alan, actually, in the meantime, can you throw the that example URL in? Because you guys got to check that out. You should open it up, and then after this, go check it out. Let's just see here. Oh, and then also, so you here's the other thing too that I decided to do is you guys we're just gonna have a Slack channel that just remains open because I have done that with the previous agencies as well. And the amount of questions that are so good within there that everyone is able to be able to use is great. You also get access to a school that I have, the TikTok Shop Elite Mastermind, that has all courses. So you just get like lifetime access in there as well. I'm just trying to like juice this with as much stuff as possible. So basically, you get all this stuff. All the stuff that I talked about there before in there. We're doing this accelerator this time for agencies, just so you guys know too, don't tell the previous agencies. I did this for $7,000 for previous agencies. I was too lazy to make separate links for this. So we're doing this. If you guys sign up by Friday, I'm going to take 20 total agencies and brands, just so you guys know. If you sign up by Friday, I'm doing this for $39, just for $4,000. Sorry, $39.97. Great marketing, George. So we're doing it for that. I will throw a link in there. Kai, I don't know if you were there, able to throw some of those links that we talked about before into the side, but I can go ahead and do that as well if you are not available. Just give me one sec here, guys. I'm going to throw all these links in there so you guys have that. So the other thing too that everybody asked for before is an option to pay in 2 times. So what I have actually set up is, and I've got a bonus in here for you guys too. I'm just going to give you all sorts of stuff here. Great. So there's a bunch of different links. Kai, if you could go in and clean those up and throw those in again, that would be really, really nice. The link there is actually for you guys to be able to pay in 2 options. People last time were like, it's kind of a lot to pay all up in one. And I was like, oh, perfect. We'll do it in 2. So it just automatically stops after 2 payments, just so you guys know. How many creators are in the SEC network? As of today, over 700, plus our high GMV creator network, which is about 150 as well. So that's all together around almost getting close to 1,000. Probably by the time this accelerator starts, it'll be close to 1,000. It's just a huge amount of creators that continue to be in the group. So just one sec here. I'm just going to make this a lot nicer, these links. So if you look, there's a Notion doc that sort of explains everything. Perfect. And that's a lot nicer now for links. So if you guys want to take those, think about it. Again, you guys know me, no pressure from my side. But I really do believe in what we're doing here. Again, secure your spot with a half payment there at the beginning. We're going to be starting next Friday. So that's going to be the first accelerator. Already have a few brands signed up from previously when I had announced this. And then I was holding off until now. So I'm going to take the first 20 brands or agencies that are in here. Agencies, just so you guys know, you're going to have an extra 2 sessions with me on agency particular items. So this is going to be, how to work with clients, how to actually, get into the TSP program. I've got really good connections with all of the people at TikTok Shop head office. In fact, I'm doing an LA event with them early March-ish, where we're going to be training a bunch of TSPs, so TikTok Shop partners. So I'm able to get you guys into that program and learn what it actually takes to be successful with brands. I think that's the biggest thing here is like, I want the agencies that I train to be the best agencies that are out there, that people are like, oh man, I'm so glad that I went there. Like Social Commerce Club was maybe a little bit more, maybe too expensive, or maybe I couldn't afford it, or whatever it was. I want to train other agencies up there. There is so much business for everyone and so many brands that need to be helped. Training sessions on the Fridays are from 9 a.m. Pacific to 11 a.m. Pacific, just so everybody knows. And then Richard, yes, I can throw those links in for you one more time here. I'll also send this out on email just so everyone has it there too, and then send the replay out. Yeah. What other questions do we have here, guys? I think that I'm imagining that there's a lot more questions for the accelerator, for TikTok Shop, any of that kind of stuff. I can stick around for a little bit longer here. We have 4 minutes left on here, but I can go a little bit longer. What other questions do you guys have? Feel free to put them into there. And also make sure to go back up and click that link so you can see AI Me with Get It AI. Highly recommend. Loving working on this stuff. The hours are, so for brands, we are doing a 4-week accelerator. And then generally what I do, like what I did with my last session, is I just did an extra. After we did 6 weeks with agencies last time, 6 weeks wasn't quite enough. We had a bonus session afterwards. I try and do as much bonusy kind of stuff as possible, just because I want to make sure you guys get it, right? The biggest thing for you guys is that you need to actually get it. What do I think the total outlay for a brand seeding ads and other software is? Oh, that's a good question, Jesse. So I would say, well, interesting, actually. I was chatting with a consulting client yesterday, and I figured that the first month of seeding, well, it really depends what your product is going to cost, but trying to get at least 200 creators in that first month. Plus, the goal is to break even on ads, right? If you can break even on the first while with your ads, you're good. It's just the outlay of the product at first. You are going to need to outlay product monthly if you're going to want to scale. But I would say that you could get away with a product seeding budget of $2,000 to $3,000, depending on what your product exactly is. And then you're able to, after that, get even like I recommend that people start at $100 a day, right? Take some budget from something, like take your branded keywords, guys, and just cut that budget. Okay. That $100 a day that you're spending on branded keywords. Why don't you just take that and put it on here for something top of funnel? That's my joke for all my Google people out there who bid on branded keywords. And I just lost like 50 people off the call. Is this for existing brands or for people who have something in the works and are finalizing branding? If this is something that you are going to be doing in the future, if you're going to be launching on TikTok Shop, which by the way, there's like some huge brands, like massive household brands that we're talking to right now that just want to launch in different areas on TikTok Shop and use it as a customer, use it as like a testing the waters channel, which is crazy because it's such an easy setup for these big brands to just go in and test the waters. So yes, so I would say that if you're really committed to being on TikTok Shop, the accelerator is totally for you. For the brands that are, you know, not quite at the stage to hire an agency and want to learn this themselves, or maybe they're like pre-hiring an agency and it's just like, hey, I just want to know what to look out for right before I go and hire an agency, right? Like we charge at Social Commerce Club, we start at 5,000 plus a percent of GMV. So if you imagine, you know, there's some brands that we charge up to $20,000 a month. So that's why I'm trying to make this accelerator just a no-brainer for brands to be like, okay, let's come in here, let's learn. Richard, did you have a question there? I saw your mic go off. Was that a mistake? Good. You're good. You're good. Okay. Awesome. Great. Oh, yeah. Thanks. Yeah. So go check out what Alan is doing at Get It AI there. James, if I'm not quite ready yet, will you be doing another accelerator later? Yes. My goal is to do these once every couple of months. Though I find it hard in my schedule to get them done. So this is why I'm like, okay, blocked off this time for us to be able to do this. So on average, how many man hours do you think a brand needs to support TikTok Shop sales with a 100K? Christina, that's such a hard question. That is such a hard question. It really comes down to, I don't know if I can answer that. I'm going to take that one back and I'm going to actually lay out what those are. And I'm going to do a post on LinkedIn or Twitter. So follow me over there. I might even do a YouTube, an entire YouTube video, because that's a really, really good question. Yeah, if it's just you and a part-time employee, it can totally be done. Again, I recommend, and again, I'm an advisor of these guys, Reacher. I think it's reacher.app. It is a TikTok Shop bot that will help you get do a lot of the work using AI. So on their roadmap this year, I'm sure I can talk about the roadmap unless they're here. No, just kidding. On the roadmap this year is integrating AI into a ton of the messaging that they're doing to be able to really supercharge smaller brands that don't have, like if it's you and a part-time employee, for instance. It is doable. And this is what I'm trying to bring with this is all of these systems and processes to be able to do this for you guys. That at the end of the day is really what I'm trying to do here. So, Richard, what if a brand is new to TikTok? Do they still need a certain amount of followers? I don't think so. I think to get onto the platform itself, I don't even think that you need any amount. Your organic presence on TikTok matters very little to your TikTok Shop sales. Just so you know. Yeah, that's right, Christina. Yeah, I think it's like 1,000 followers. You can get that fairly easily. You can even run like a contest for ads to get up to that level. To get those 1,000 followers, it's fairly simple to get to that level. Let me see if there's were there any other questions that I didn't answer? I know we're over time and a bunch of you guys are still on here. So, are there any other questions for you guys? If not, let me know on a scale of 0 to 10 how worthwhile this time was for you. This was an hour. You don't need to say 10. I always want to get better. And if it wasn't a 10, you tell me what we can do better next time. Thanks everyone so much for coming on. If there's any other questions, go ahead and throw them into the chat there as well. Schedule of the accelerator is so starting next Friday, and then it's every week. Friday for the next 4 weeks. And then agencies, we're going to be doing an extra 2 in there. We may fit them in actually within the 4 weeks. My goal, before I stretch it out to 6, my goal is to get you guys up and running within a month, right? Up, running, starting to scale, first sale, and starting to understand that so that in the Slack channel, in the school group, in all of there, we're actually able to get you guys going fast. That is my ultimate goal, is for this to be like a quick start kind of program for both agencies and for brands. So agencies, again, we'll fit those in there somewhere within the 4 weeks. And for the agencies, we'll just figure out the best time for that. Schedule of the accelerator. Yes. Fridays from 9 a.m. Pacific to 11 a.m. Pacific. I choose that time because there are sometimes Europeans as well. And so that tends to work well for the Europeans. So Fridays, 9 a.m. Pacific to 11 a.m. Pacific. Any other questions for the 30 of you who are still on, the 31 of us? I will be sending all of this out in an email afterwards as well. So thank you guys so much for sticking on. Thanks to all of you guys. I appreciate you guys all so much. And yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing you guys in there. Yeah, this was really fun. All right. Bye, guys.